I'm Daniel Dazi, great to have you with us. Now, government has justified the decision to evict some 9 judges from their current official residence to make way for the construction of a national cathedral scheduled to be built in Accra. The Passport Office as Rich here in Accra, the Scholarship Secretariat and scores of bungalows belonging to appeals court judges are to be pulled down to make way for the construction of a national cathedral. Other structures on the long stretch are also expected to be pulled down to free the enclave for the 5,000-seater cathedral that includes a state-of-the-art Bible museum and documentation center.
From the Rich Circle, headed for the Accra International Conference Center, the land stretch on your left, about 6 hectares close to Ghana's Parliament, will soon have all the buildings pulled down. The Passport Office, which is in the center of this enclave, and other structures, including bungalows of 9 appeals court judges, are going to be demolished for the project. And from where I stand in front of the Judicial Training School, which is expected to go down to, a bungalow belonging to one appeals court judge sits. The property shares a wall with the training school. In there, some individuals are moving in and out of a room, pulling out shirt hangers, shoe racks and other room fittings. Not too far from the Maritime Authority office, more bungalows, some constructed only 5 years ago, will no longer be here. Still at East Ridge, right in my shot, you can see one of the bungalows belonging to the appeals court judges, which is going to be affected by the exercise, which is expected to pave way for the construction of the cathedral. Earlier, we were at the other avenue, which also housed one of the judges, and we are told that this entire enclave houses at least 9 appeal court judges, and then these bungalows belonging to these judges are going to be affected. The Scholarship Secretariat, also in this enclave, light brick red and cream painted, antiquely built, will also go down. This is the Scholarship Secretariat right here at Rich. This is one of the buildings that is going to be affected by the demolition exercise to make way for the construction of a 5,000-seater cathedral that President Akufo-Addo promised to be a monument to celebrate Ghana's 60th anniversary. It is expected to have gardens and concave structures housing a chapel, baptistry, music school, choir rehearsal space, as well as Africa's first Bible museum and documentary center. It will also be a house of prayer for all people and will host state occasions, which are usually held at the Independence Square and the Accra International Conference Center. Occupants of these apartments have been served notices to vacate the area immediately, even as the Supreme Court hears the CPP's James Bomfest application to halt the process. The 9 appeals court judges whose bungalows have been affected have meanwhile been asked to move into a rented space, while government constructs a new bungalow at Cantonments to be handed over to the Judicial Service by 2020.
Still watching Joy News today. We'll stay with the story of the construction of the National Cathedral because retired pastor of Elim Pentecostal Church, Bishop Lionel Curie, is asking government to reconsider its decision as it is a misplaced priority. What's the purpose of this cathedral? Here's President Akufo-Addo at the sword-cutting ceremony.
I believed for a very long time that there was a missing link in our national architecture, and that is we did not have a national cathedral, interdenominational in nature, where all Christians could gather on formal occasions of the state. Anniversaries like today, the inauguration of presidents, the death of presidents, other national occasions, and in the solemnity of a cathedral, give thanks to the Almighty. What we have attempted to do today is to begin the process of filling in that gap. The idea is for the state of Ghana to bequeath the land to the project on which we are, and for the financing and funding of the project to come from within the Christian community and the community of all believers in Ghana. That's the project that we have, and we are calling on the Almighty today to bless this project so that it will stand as a monument of the Ghanaian nation's continuing and eternal gratitude to him for the favors that he continues to shower and bestow on our nation. The gesture is one of thanksgiving, and that will live with us through the ages. I'm grateful to the eminent clergy who are assembled here, one or two of whom are absent from our country, for agreeing to devote their precious time to working on this project and bringing it, hopefully, to a conclusion. Assembled here are some of the most important figures in our religious Christian community, who also have one very important characteristic. They're very good at raising money. And we're hoping that those gifts and talents will be brought to bear on this project. It's the Almighty himself who said, "My house shall be called the house of prayer for all people." That is what we have begun today.
Now, speaking to me earlier on the Super Morning Show on Joy FM, former Lands and Natural Resources Minister John Peter Amewu said government had no issues with the proposed site for the edifice per the proposal by the Reverend Asante-led committee. Right, Manasseh Azuriawune will join me shortly in the bulletin with more details of this story. Now, if you use the routes that lead to the Accra-Tema motorway roundabout area, then this is for you. You will be required to use alternative routes to your destination this morning because the Ghana Highways Authority has diverted a number of routes. This is to prevent heavy vehicular congestion as the construction of the 3-tier interchange at the roundabout is underway. The Highways Authority says it has mounted visible signposts at the affected areas to guide motorists. Matilda Wemega has been engaging some passengers at the roundabout station.
Project na ekoso ha say no, first of all say na umufa.
Okay, me who say at papa because say no musi na traffic room. That time na omo nhyase dey wo ye no. Na traffic room pa ba sisia no. It mu say so omo ye kwan na abebo yen, omo ye dam kwan no ye na abebo yen ba mama ye wan hane. Ewo yen adwuma bam ne be free akoyemu. So me fi say ye pa.
Okay, but drivers now are already raising issues about bus stops are near on and traffic be created. Then I work and found.
Okay, no moment there. My man found say, because sisi no so mo be station ma yawa. Enti bus stop no eni kwan ho no ebeboa say wo ko ba bia obegina kwan ho na wafaka eno no metu fisa nye. Ye yen say obetimi aba wo mo be station ma announcement da so no. Wo ba ba faka abeye ebia na wo ko ba bi woni mo kra wo gina kwan ho na ye de wakọ ba bia anye. Enti me fi say de omo yi aba ha no na bus stop yi kwan ho no eye.
Okay, all right. Me Pacho, now what's your name?
Pacho in the Regina.
So Regina, bus stops ne ni kwan first na ofi here and na obefa car no
me free doing ya in a bahan mu say ba akwai say sisi so wo ba ofri doing ya ba na wonim station e wa han mu say ahon chiro pa because baby o be siw say bus stop no this all nanti free one no ma de bahan mu say nti me so me ba no na me nim say han na station no nti baby o mu say me no me nanti e de baha say nti before cry me dru han mu say me twa kwan no mo betre me say han station no nti say o ye wo na oba de ahon betre ba say unim say aha no mo de abade ani embeboa.
Alright, let me also speak with you first. You are let me talk to you. Your name?
I'm Charles.
Okay, so Charles, where did you come from before you boarded this vehicle?
Okay, me feel doing
okay.
Yeah.
Now, Obana send an etimawa or get it to this place.
Okay, and run me to one of who say almost Sanquano. But I'm expecting say we are traffic bed, a bit and a power by and a power me do and normal traffic behind.
But how difficult was it? Locate station. He funny see one and Nantin and name with the same out.
Okay, me do around Emma. Yeah, my embrace.
Me Pacho, now also Woody.
Frederick Bochi.
Okay, so Frederick, How was it for you getting to this place?
Okay, me no time I am fine. But the stations maybe with that say you know Ubayo. Because maybe a crowd will be no cham the station or ham and say my mention and a car also a station and what a Tamakal. Kaswaka also being baby a kind of Ubutu Wagina and what there's a watch out them on yet, but this is a quantity moon and no traffic and what they demonstrate into Panama or on Cordo and that's all. Yeah.
Your name, please.
But your family Richard Obeng.
Okay, so Richard, where did you come from before you boarded this vehicle?
Me free doing an bahazing. Now, me bah chikakra. As I always be, I call me shut down for them as inside. Indeed, and now me bahano. Me do run about to home with me see, maybe our old station, maybe on the first near Faka or if you want to make Busabusa, and tell me break a cancer and maybe who was saying. And it's a corner more and say, Namia do not meet me a Maya, and can anybody jump upon. Into Mr. Muzunya, Jumano Maya, now be behind your fine.
So I've been engaging a number of pedestrians here at the Temamotowe Runabout Station. It's quite a mixed reaction. A number of them are happy that this project is going on. They were initially worried about the traffic that is going to be created as a result of this work. But today, they realize that because of the presence of the MTTD around, it looks like it's a moving traffic here. So what their concern is that official bus stops or designated bus stops must be made available for them in order to make it easy to locate some of these bus stations.
Let's take you from Tema to the northern region, because the only health facility at Chamba in the northern region is struggling to provide basic health care to residents as a result of indebtedness by the National Health Insurance Scheme. The facility has not received payment from the scheme for more than 17 months. Patients are sometimes forced to sleep on metallic bed structures without mattresses. Joseph Opoku-Gakpo visited there and filed this report.
The St. Joseph's Clinic and Maternity Home at Chamba serves a population of about 4,000 people in 27 communities in the Nanumba North District.
For the detention, when it gets to the peak season, like the rainy season, where we have a lot of malaria cases, especially in children, most of them lie on the floor. But we have just a 6-bed capacity wards.
At least 40 patients visit the facility daily for treatment, of which more than 70% use NHIS cards. But the NHIS hasn't reimbursed them for more than a year.
From our calculation, it's 17 months outstanding. We are always in indebtedness, and we are being chased every now and then.
The result, there is no money for the running of the clinic. The physician assistant would usually make patients buy gloves and other materials when visiting. He says the situation is negatively impacting healthcare delivery.
The client is lying down suffering. We talk of emergency situations. Then they are running to the drugstore to what? Buy examination gloves, to buy cotton, and we have to wait. What happens to the client?
A lot of the beds here are without mattresses because there is no money to replace worn-out ones. Even the available mattresses are dirty and the beds are rusty. Sometimes patients lie on the metal structure without mattresses.
So they lay on it like that. Wow. Okay.
The hospital has no flowing water. The tank here was donated to them by an NGO, but there is never a reliable source to fill it. They would usually go buy water in yellow gallons and bring.
We're getting water from the mission house, but now their pump has a problem. So we buy water from town.
The Member of Parliament for the area, Dominic Nitiwo, donated this ambulance to the facility in 2016, but it has never worked. They would thus usually convey referred patients in pickups to the nearest health facility.
We use our pickup as the ambulance.
I thought you have an ambulance here right now, sitting here on the premises. What's happening?
I'm exactly 1 year here, and since I came, this is how the ambulance has been parked here. And it was handed over to me as being parked there since they brought it, because it's not in good shape in terms of whichever way our transport officer can describe it. Look at the registration. Can we use it on our Ghanaian roads?
The challenges here are many. The administrators want some quick intervention.
You have heard of the indebtedness of the NHIS to us. If they do, possibly we may be able to get extra income to be able to solve some of these problems locally. For example, maintenance of the beds, buying of mattresses to replace worn-out ones.
For Joy News, Joseph Opoku-Gakpo, Chamba.
Away from that, Food and Agriculture Minister Dr. Owusu Akoto has described persons involved in the smuggling of subsidized fertilizer meant for the Planting for Food and Jobs program as selfish and saboteurs of the economy. A recent study by a Community Development Alliance, an NGO, found that government officials were involved in the smuggling of fertilizer through unapproved routes into neighboring countries. Speaking to municipal and district directors of agriculture in Wa, he said those involved will be made to face the full rigors of the law. Rafiq Salam has more.
I don't see any
a visible angry Food and Agriculture Minister, Dr. Owusu Akoto, did not hide his displeasure on the massive smuggling of subsidized fertilizer to neighboring countries through unapproved routes, allegedly by a powerful smuggling syndicate aided by some state officials.
My heart was bleeding yesterday when I heard that farmers in Tumu had to come around Tumu, had to come and spend 3 nights in front of the office of the ministry just so that they can get a coupon to go and get fertilizer. That is not what I started this whole program with. And it's all because selfish people, wicked people, people who are saboteurs to our economy, to the vision of Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, are determined that they rather steal the fertilizer and give it to Burkina Faso farmers instead of our own farmers. Isn't that sad? It's very, very sad. You're all sitting there very quiet. I don't see any emotions in your faces. For me, I could cry. To be honest, I could cry.
Dr. Owusu Akoto met municipal and district directors of agriculture in the Upper West region as part of his 3-day official tour. The visit to the region is his first since assuming office in January last year, and it is to meet major stakeholders in the agri sector to put before them plans of the government on the sector, and also to hear from them the constraints they are being confronted with a view to finding solutions to them.
That system of coupon was meant to facilitate the supply of fertilizers and seeds to the farmers. As it is, people are manipulating and selling the coupons to farmers at about 15 cities, somewhere we were told. 5 cities, 15 cities. And they are selling to the smugglers because the smugglers need this fertilizer they smuggle to Burkina for them to be able to come with evidence to me in Accra that they sold to the farmers. Yes. That's stealing. And stealing is criminal. You don't know that?
Yes. Commenting on the baseline study report conducted by non-governmental organization Community Development Alliance, coupled with complaints he had interacting with farmers on the field, Dr. Akoto said the perpetrators of the crime will be severely punished.
We are not going to allow this to go on. And those who have undertaken this mischievous journey, we will punish them. We will watch it. We're going to punish people. We're going to throw people in jail to serve as a precedent and a warning to others that what belongs to the poor person, you don't take it. You may be a Muslim, you may be a Christian, but that's not Christian or Muslim principle. You go to the mosque, you go to the church, you come out, you go and pray to your God, and you go and stand on a poor farmer, a poor woman who has 6 children to look after. We are trying to give them the instrument for them to come out of poverty, and you are sabotaging it. That's what it means. So investigations are still ongoing, and you haven't heard the last of it. So those of you who are indulging in it, stand by. Akoto is coming after you.
Reporting for J News, Rafik Salam. Wow.
Still watching Joy News today. I am Daniel Daze. Let's take you back to that earlier story having to do with the construction of the National Cathedral. My colleague Manasseh Azuriawuni has the very latest on this one. Now, Manasseh, we understand you've been interacting with some judges who've been expressing their views about government's decision to relocate 9 of their colleagues.
Yes, Daniel, and these are judges who, Court of Appeals judges, and their main concern is that they don't have a problem with the National Cathedral being built, and if it were their own sake, they could move to the new places. After all, it's not that bad, but they want to register their dissatisfaction so that this doesn't become a precedent that the executive arm of government can at any time ask them to move. They cite some previous evictions that did not go down well with them, and for them, this current location is an initiative by the Judicial Service to design and build some houses that are to be the model for appeal court judges.
Okay.
So for what they have here, they haven't even finished paying. That's the Judicial Service hasn't finished paying for some of them, and some are still under construction.
That is the houses that have been earmarked for demolition.
Demolition. 3 of them were handed over, we are told, 5 years ago. 3 are still under construction. 2 are the old bungalows. That's making maybe 7. No, in addition to the uncompleted, we can have about 8 at the current locations. And we are told that at Cantonment, there's a place after Ghana International School. They also want to demolish about 4 of the old bungalows, and that's where they are going to construct the new 21 bungalows for the judges.
Right. So, Manasseh, we have been speaking with the former Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, John Peter Amewu. We'll be hearing from him in a moment, but he seems to create the impression that some of the judges were actually in favor of the decision.
That I cannot tell, and those I have spoken to are really not happy, and for them they raise issues about how they were even informed about the issue. It didn't start with formal communication. They just had a oral communication and phone call, prepared to move because they're going to use this land. So if you look at the letter written to the judges by the Judicial Council, and I think this is dated 10th of August 2018, it actually starts with an apology about the delay in informing them and all of that. So they have concerns, but because they are of their work, they say they cannot go out and state it, because this case may eventually come to their court, because some are raising concerns and issues about this. So they don't want to do anything that would put them in a situation of conflict of interest, but they really want to appeal to the government and also the leadership of the Judicial Service, that's the Chief Justice and her team, to reconsider this decision and allow them to stay where they are.
Thank you very much, Manasseh Azuriawuni. You had the latest on that. Let's now hear the rest of that interview with John Peter Amewu. He was speaking to me this morning on the Super Morning Show on Joy FM.
This case is that because of those existing bungalows, there will be a need for demolition. And so what we did, therefore, was to identify, well-built residential facilities of topmost quality. We've invited the judges, together with people from lands and natural resources, and each and every building that was made available for them to satisfy. In fact, in one of the visits, of course, which I was there myself, one of the family was said, Daddy, this is very beautiful. Why are we still wasting time? We need to move in quickly. So the selection of the new residential buildings, there were even more placed in the better places in terms of constructing than where some of these never had a complaint from any of those judges that were going to be relocated. What the ministry has done was that we have even made land available for a training school, a 10-acre land available for training school on top of what we're giving them. We are also constructing an additional 21, state-of-the-art residential accommodation for the judges in the long. Within the short term, we're just renting for about 1.5 years. Time this construction is completed, they will therefore move into this new location.
Still watching Joy News today. Let's move to other issues now. And 3 single-sex halls of residence at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology (KNUST) have, for the first time in decades, received occupants of the opposite sex. The conversion of all-male university, that is Katanga and Unity halls, as well as the only female-only Africa Hall, into mixed facilities, comes despite resistance from residents and alumni of Katanga and Unity halls. Heightened security on campus and a High Court rejection of 2 motions by alumni of the halls for interlocutory injunction characterized the arrival of the students. Love FM's Kwesi Deborah has been to the halls to interact with them on how they're settling in.
Bernice Bafo is first-year English language student, resident of Unity Hall, known as Conti, until now an all-male facility.
Rahel, please give me the charger. No, the white one. This one.
Together with her roommate, she's one of 1,000 females suspected to reside here, along males.
So I checked and I had Unity Hall. I didn't know much about the hall, so I sent it to a friend in the school. And I told him I had Unity Hall. And he was like, hey, I'm dead. And I was like, why? He said they didn't want girls here because if you come, they'll maltreat us and beat us or do something bad to us.
I felt a bit uneasy because it was like I already heard news, I already heard rumors that they were about to change the male halls into a mixed hall, and then it was kind of scary because they were sending us pictures, they were trying to scare us.
So I was really scared because if you look on social media, the videos the Katanga and Continental boys say uploading.
Heavy security deployment on reporting day did a lot to allay their fears. The court rejection of motions for interlocutory injunction sealed it all for these freshers.
Right now we came and the environment is so cool, it's so friendly, and I don't feel scared anymore. It's okay. So I don't really know what they were talking about.
When I came here, it was so different from what I thought. I thought I would see these red flags hung around the house and a lot of volley boys.
For others, parents played a major role.
My mother told me that it's all cool since the school send their parents text messages that they are going to provide adequate security and also.
So far, 700 females have reported, the rest expected soon. Albert Benjamin Suman is senior hall tutor.
We have a 2,000 bed capacity, but currently we are filling up the numbers. About 1,700 have reported, so we are waiting for the few that are not reported.
The story is not so different at the University Hall, also known as Katanga.
I really feel happy to be here. The place is super cool, and then the security men here are very responsible.
At Africa Hall, first male residents undergoing orientation by warden Dr. Mariana Santuan Kansa. Most of them can't come to terms with the fact that they are finally here.
When I was given Africa Hall, I wasn't really excited, but I had to come because I had no choice.
Well, I was not all that happy for being in Africa Hall because this is not my choice.
Did Katanga's father John agree to assist Sister Jane, or Contes Cantona is tired of holding his knee alone? Of brothers and and sisters, reporting for Joy News. My name is
Kwesi Deborah's reports there from Kumasi, from K University in Kumasi. But let's come back to Accra, because the founder and leader of the Action Chapel International, Archbishop Duncan Williams, has cautioned Christians against criticizing the General Overseer of the International Central Gospel Church, Dr. Mensa Otabil. Addressing congregants during worship over the weekend at the Prayer Cathedral on the Spintex Road, the Archbishop dissuaded his flock from judging people without having full knowledge of what the issues are. Dr. Mensa Otabil has come under heavy criticism lately in the media after the collapse of Capital Bank, of which he was board chair. Archbishop Duncan Williams warns his church members, if they don't want to be judged, then they must not judge others.
Christian, shut your mouth. Number 2, the Bible says, judge not, that you may not be judged. So shut your mouth. Stop talking about things you don't understand. Somebody asked me, what do you think? I say, I don't think anything. I don't understand. I don't know the details. So let the authorities handle the situation. Don't talk. You talk too much. Christians, you talk too much. Now, I'm saying that to Christians. As for unbelievers and the heathens, they have the right to talk. Their day will come. But for us Christians, we are under God's constitution. We do not judge, and we don't judge our own. Let the world talk and let the world judge, but you don't join the world to crucify your brother. That is all I'll tell you. Lift up your hands. Lift up your hands. Father, we do not rejoice at the head of any one of your children. We commit the whole situation into your care. And we pray for those handling the situation, that they will handle it with honesty, and that truth and justice will triumph, and that mercy will triumph where it's needed in this matter. I pray for the Christian community and the church in Ghana, that the enemy will not have an occasion.
You're still watching Joy News today. I am Daniel Daze. Let's now take business. Odilia Ntiamwa is standing by.